Hi everybody, it's time now to have a look at expanding our factorising knowledge. Oh, that is really bad, isn't it? So sorry for saying that. Anyway, we're going to look at the quadratic formula. Firstly though, we're going to have a quick look back at why we factorise. Well, we factorise basically to rearrange the look of an equation. Right? That'll help us find things like the x and y intercepts. It'll help us find solutions, which are essentially the x-intercepts on a graph. Right? It'll also help us make predictions about what's going to happen in the future. So we've looked at two types of graphs so far. First one, are linear graphs. Now the information we can get from linear graphs, straight away, we've got a y-intercept. Second thing we've got is a gradient. And that's the slope of the line, if you remember. So on a linear graph, you've got a line. You can see that it's going to have a straight line. It's going to have one x-intercept and one y-intercept. Now, if you recall, we use the null factor law to solve for the x-intercept, the solution there. So how do we do that? We let y equal 0. Same as if we're finding the y-intercept, we let x equal 0. All right. Next type of graph we've been looking at is the quadratic graph. Now, you can tell it's quadratic because it's got the x squared term in it. All right? If it hasn't got an x squared term, it's not a quadratic graph. All right. Good news is this c value is still the y-intercept. All right? And what the quadratic graph looks like is you have your axes and you will have a curve, something like that. It could be upside down. It could shift somewhere on the graph, but you can see it's got an x-intercept there and an x-intercept there. Coincidentally, there's a 2 there. Now, it doesn't always have to have two x-intercepts, but it means it's got two potential x-intercepts. And it's a combination of the A and the B that give it a shape like that. Now, to find the y-intercept, same deal, null factor law. Let x equals 0 and you get y equals c. So we know that's the y-intercept. The other one, to find the x-intercept, we've got to let y equal 0. But what happens then is we have two possibilities, okay? We can't just solve it straight away. So what we do is we factorize it so that it looks like this, okay? We've got an x plus m, x plus n. You see there's no x squareds anymore. So what that means is they're using the null factor law. We've got the first x-intercept is going to be negative m. This is just the short version. And the other x-intercept is going to be negative n. All right, null factor law. We've gone through all this sort of stuff in a different video, so I'm not going to cover it now. What I am going to cover though are just quickly going over the 5 steps for factorizing. Right? These you have to follow in order, okay? 1, highest common factor. If you can find highest common factor, you will always need to do that. Second thing, you look for difference of 2 squares. Third thing, we're going to look for to see if it's a monic trinomial. Fourth thing, non-monic trinomials. That means you've got a number, a coefficient that is greater than 1 or less than negative 1 out the front of the x squared term. And the last thing we're going to do, or we're going to look for, if we can't factorize it with non-monic or any of the top 4, we're going to complete the square. Now, actually, it's not quite true. Completing the square gives us a very important thing. This gives us the turning point. Okay. Again, I'm not going to go through this. There's other videos about how to use these 5 steps, and there's other videos on how to graph. But they're the 5 steps when we're factorizing. The good news is there is a better way. There is, to quote a teacher friend of mine, a beautiful thing. It's called the quadratic formula, which means you don't actually have to factorize. Wait for it. Here it comes. And there it is. Isn't it wonderful looking? Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Great. Now what it gives us is, as it says here, it gives us the x-intercept. Now remember on a quadratic we've got a possible 2 x-intercepts, that's where the plus and minus come in. So that's just a shorthand way of saying negative b plus all the rest, or negative b minus all the rest. So it's possible too. Where do the a, b and c come from, I hear you ask? Quite simple. Remember our basic equation, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c? There's the a, there's the b, there's the c. So all we're really doing is taking that a and putting it up there and there. Or we're taking that b, putting it there, and our c, obviously, our y-intercept, is going to go in there. So all we're doing is substituting. And as you can see, it's really, really useful. You can use it any time on a quadratic, but it's really useful if you haven't got a very nice quadratic, something where it doesn't work, factorise very easily. Now, just before we jump in the deep end using the quadratic formula, there's a bit we've got to pull out of it. It's called the discriminant. It's the b squared minus 4ac, and it's signified by the Greek letter delta. Okay, now that tells us, that's a really important piece of information. That tells us how many solutions there are. So that b squared minus 4ac, as you can see, I've written it down in the bottom here. B squared minus 4ac is the bit under the square root. So you can either write the whole thing out like that, or you could take a bit of a shortcut and write it like this. But the important bit is you always should do the discriminant first, work out how many solutions, because this one, have a look at that. If you work out b squared minus 4ac and the answer you get is less than 0, that means there are no solutions. That means you don't have to go and use a quadratic formula. There are no x-intercepts, okay? You can see why. That means delta less than 0 means delta's negative. So put delta back in here. Can you find the square root of a negative number? No, you can't. All right. So that just means if delta is less than 0, there are no solutions. Stop. If delta equals 0, then that means there is one solution. And of course, if delta is greater than 0, that means there are two real solutions. Okay, I'm actually going to expand on that one a little bit. So if delta is a square number, for example, 25, that means there are two rational solutions. All right. So, like I said, 25. What's the square root of 25? 5 or negative 5. What's the square root of 81? Negative 9 or 9. Now, if delta is not a square number, there are still two solutions, but they are just real solutions. That means you could do it to decimal places, or you could even leave it as a surd, depending on what the question or what information you need. All right, so first bit, always do the discriminant first and see how many solutions there are. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of ways that using the discriminant questions can be worded. First one, how many solutions are there in the expression? All right, and see, it just says x squared minus 8x plus 16. The other way you could find things worded would be how many x-intercepts are there on the graph. So that means you've got the full equation with the y equals. Okay, it means exactly the same thing. First thing we need to do is write our discriminant equation, which is b squared minus 4ac. And then we need to work out the values of our a, our b, and our c. Now, it's a really good idea to write these things down, just so we don't accidentally muck things up. All right, now the a is attached to the x squared term. It's the coefficient of the x squared term. There is no number out the front there. It's not 0. The coefficient of that is actually 1. Why? Because there is one x squared term. If it was 0, it'd be 0 times x squared, which is 0. So the coefficient of the x squared term is 1. Now the coefficient of the b term, there's an 8 there. But if you have a look, there's also a negative in front of it. So that's -8, which becomes -8 is a coefficient. Our C term is obviously just going to be 16. Now all we have to do is plug those three values into our discriminant equation. So we'll do that. B equals, now I'm writing the B, the -8, in brackets. It's really important because calculators, if you don't put the -8 in brackets, the calculator will read that as the negative of 8 squared, which will give you -64. You actually want -8 squared, which is negative times negative is positive, is 64. So you have to be careful. You have to make the calculator read it as the number -8. Okay, just a heads up on that one. All right, let's finish it off. -4 times the A value, which is 1, times 16 equals -8 squared is 64, as we worked out. -4 times 1 times 16 is also 64. So therefore we have the discriminant equals 0. Now, how many solutions is that? Now let's just have a think back. I'll make it pop up on the screen in 3, 2, 1. Bang, there it is. You can see it's not less than 0. So there are solutions. It is equal to 0. Therefore, there is only one solution. That's the one we need. Okay, so we've got, therefore, one solution. In this case, the question hasn't asked us to find the solution just yet. We just need to know how many there are. All right. Second one, let's have a look. Same thing again. Write our equation. Delta equals B squared minus 4AC. Write down our A equals, B equals, and C equals. So our A is -2. Our B is 3. And our C is -5. Let's plug them in. Equals. Now this is really quick, isn't it? B squared, so it's 3 squared minus 4 times A is -2 times C is -5. All right, let's work this out. 3 squared is 9. So we've got a negative here. So we'll write negative there for now. And we've got 4 times -2 is -8. Times -5, -8 times -5 is +40, so it's just 40 equals 9 minus 40 is -31. Now, I'm not going to make it flash up this time. Delta equals -31. How many solutions are there? None. So therefore, no solutions. That means you don't have to go on and find out what the solutions are because there aren't any. Don't have to use a quadratic formula for that one. All right, let's go to the next step, using the quadratic formula. So we have a question here. Find the solutions to the graph y equals 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. So first thing we're going to do, yes, we're going to find our discriminant. So delta equals B squared minus 4AC, which will tell us how many times we have to use a quadratic formula. So our A value equals 3, our B value equals 7, and our C value equals 2. Now, actually, one thing I haven't mentioned so far is please make sure that you always rearrange your formula if you need to. So you have your x squared term first, your x term second, and our C term last. It always has to be in that order so you can get the ABCs right, okay? Very important. All right, let's substitute in. Equals 3 squared is, no, that's not right. What am I doing? Dearie me. It is 7 squared. So B is 7 minus 4 times 3 times 2. Glad you picked me up on that one. All right, 7 squared is 49 minus, they're all positive, so minus 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24, which leaves us with 25 is our discriminant. So how many solutions? There are 2 solutions. And they are 2 rational solutions because it's 25, a nice square number. Right, now let's just have a quick recap. It's been a while since we looked at it. there is our quadratic formula, just as a recap. Save me writing it all out again. You guys, sorry, you should write it out again blank, so you make sure you get the numbers in the right spot. All right, let's change color. So equals. Now, because we have two solutions, now remember I talked about the plus and minus in there? That means we have to do this equation twice. So negative b plus the square root of, and I'll take the shortcut delta because we've already worked out delta, over 2a, and negative b minus the square root of delta over 2a. Substitute our values in. We've got negative b, so that's negative 7, I got it right this time, plus the square root of delta, worked out to be 25, over 2 times our a value, which is 3. Okay, this one is negative 7 minus root 25, so it's exactly the same, just with a minus in it, over 2 times 3. Let's do this one first. Negative 7 plus 5 over 6, which is negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2 over 6, is, well, it's negative 2 over 6 is negative 1/3. And this one, negative 7 minus 5 over 6, which is negative 12 over 6, is negative 2. So our two solutions, our two x-intercepts are x equals negative 1/3 and x equals negative 2. All right, there's our solutions. If you were going to write it as a coordinate pair, if it asks you to find the intercepts, obviously you'd write it as negative 1/3, comma 0, and negative 2, comma 0. So that's how you write it for x-intercepts on a graph. All right, let's have a quick summary. Well, the first thing we need to remember is we need to have our equation in this order. So the x squared term first, the x term second, and our y-intercept third. Has to be in that order. After that, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our discriminant delta to find out how many, or if there are in fact any solutions. So if you recall, if delta is less than 0, there are no solutions. If delta equals 0, there is one solution. And if delta is greater than 0, there are two solutions. All right. Now remember, real if it's not a square number, rational if it is a square number. Okay. Now then, if we do need to find the solutions, we come down to our quadratic formula to find what the solutions are. So remember, if discriminant is less than 0, you don't need to use this at all. Bang. If the discriminant equals 0, you only need to use the plus. You don't need to use the minus part. And if the discriminant is greater than 0, then you have to do like the example I just did. You need to do the plus and the minus. Okay, now remember, that gives you the x-intercepts. There is another little bit. Now remember, in the 5 factorising things, the last one, completing the square, gives you the turning point. There is another little bit to the quadratic equation, and I'm just going to sneak this in as an aside. Okay, negative b over 2a. And I'll write the x in front of it there. This gives you the x coordinate of the turning point. All right, that's just as a little aside. So what you need to do, if you need to find the turning point on a graph, you substitute your negative b over 2a and it will give you your x value. You then take that x value and substitute it into your equation and you find the y value. So it gives you the turning point. That's just a little bit extra on the side. But for the main part, use your discriminant first to find out how many solutions and then substitute the A, B's and C's into your quadratic formula, and that will give you your solutions. Happy not factorising.